What is going on, everybody? Welcome to the latest episode of the Legislative Director, talking about legislative things. As always, she is the coach that's in the locker room giving us that motivational speech to get us to play harder in the second half. Legislative Director Amber Marr. And here I am, the kid who's really probably not going to get to play unless we're up by 30 or down by 30 points. Not the Legislative Director, Jason Thompson. Amber, hello. How are you? It is, for those of you that are watching this show, we have hats, and because it's cold out, it's snowing. There's some sort of winter storm happening. We hope that you are warm where you are and staying safe, and also wearing cool hats.
Yeah, I think it was a little bit of a shock this morning when I woke up and I didn't really see that much snow, but now we're looking outside and it won't stop. So
It was a little oversold,
well, we
but
don't know that yet. We might still have 10 more inches coming.
this is true, and weather is it's the weather. Yes, it is unpredictable, and it's best to be prepared than not be prepared. So I'm here for
Always.
it.
Me too.
But how are you holding up? It's halftime.
It is halftime. Doing well, I think. I mean, it's been somehow still a busy week, even though, because technically they were still, the legislators were still here Monday and Tuesday and a little bit of Wednesday morning, I think, or maybe not Wednesday. I'm already losing track of my week, but yeah, it was still a really busy week. I think when halftime hits, we all think we can kind of just take a breath, but at the same time, we're also gearing up to hit it hard next week, because that just means that committee hearings will kick off and the House bills go to the Senate and the Senate bills go to the House, and they go through the exact same process that they just came from. So it's going to be another fast and furious second half. And so just trying to get prepared and kind of see where everything is. I think halftime is helpful because the bills that did not get a hearing have died, and we can kind of focus on the things that are live.
Yeah, it's an interesting thing, especially in a short session when you get to that halfway point, because it literally felt like you just started not too long ago. And so the fact that here we are now, the beginning of February, and things are already switching their respective chambers, and bills have died, and all of that happening. It's very quick. It's very quick.
I mean, I'm going to have to check the calendar here, but it's kind of the same thing as in January, right? When we started talking about this, I believe deadlines start to hit around February 22nd. So, I mean, next week and literally the week after are the only 2 full weeks of committee hearings that we will have. And then deadlines hit, and we are almost going to be into conference committee. I mean,
yeah, because it's March 14th. They got to be out of there, right? So you're talking about very quick here. And February is the shortest month from a day standpoint. Yeah. So yeah, it is.
I thought it was March
crazy. 15th. March 15th, 14th. What's a day?
Anymore, nothing.
Anymore, time is a flat circle. So speaking of quick and moving fast, why don't we give everybody a quick rundown of some of the bills, where they are, alive, mostly dead. Well, actually, at this point in time, it's either alive or dead.
That's what I was going to say. There's no mostly. It's either it made it or it didn't.
Okay. So we'll give that rundown. Give everybody a little glimpse of we'll talk about what's happening next with the switching the houses. We'll give a shout out, and then we will get back to, potentially shoveling snow.
Sounds like a plan. So we're going to kick it off by talking about House Bill 1087. That was the Dementia Services Coordinator bill. It did go through one committee, passed out 10-0, and that was the Committee on House, Family, Children, and Human Affairs. it was great. We testified. This would have created a full-time statewide dementia coordinator. Unfortunately, it had to be recommitted to Ways and Means because it had a fiscal to it, although there were federal dollars available to maybe cover this position for a couple of years. It never got a hearing in Ways and Means. So sadly, this has officially died.
Boo.
I felt like that was a delayed reaction.
I was just trying to get myself off mute so I could say boo.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I know. We hopefully, though, maybe next year, because we will be in a budget year, they can bring this back and see if there's some way to get some money in the budget for it.
Yeah,
so
during a short session, there's hesitancy from those that are in charge that to open up the budget in any way or kind of put any kind of fiscal commitment in during a short session. So they like to save those for the long session, which would be next year when they write the budget.
Yep, exactly. So we will keep you posted on that. House Bill 1203 was the closed captioning bill that we have talked about. Unfortunately, it was never brought back for a hearing. If you remember, it was heard for the first time in House Commerce, Small Business, and Economic Development. It was held to try to get some amendments into it. They had some issues with some of the language in the bill. Unfortunately, it was never brought back for a second hearing and a vote. So unfortunately, closed captioning for another year has died. So
Boo
hopefully
again.
I know. We might have some updates locally around this. So again, hang tight. While it is not going anywhere on a state level, that doesn't mean we're not going to see what can happen locally in some communities. So
yep. Okay.
We'll do what we can. Yep. Let's see. Next up, House Bill 1306. This is the Housing Task Force. Basically, it establishes a housing task force to review issues related to the housing shortage here in Indiana. We are supportive of this bill, and so is our housing coalition. The one thing that I wanted to mention is we are going to be working with some of the partners on this bill, as well as the author and co-sponsors. There didn't seem to be a consumer organization on the Housing Task Force. And I know that they really didn't want to add anything. They really didn't want to add any additional organizations to the task force, but we're just having some conversations. We think it would be really great to have a consumer organization on there. Habitat is on there, but they're also a developer and a builder. So we just thought it would be great to have someone from our housing task force to be on there. So stay tuned on that. It is moving. It passed out of the House. Looks like it was 70 to 20. So there was some pushback, I think, just around kind of what they might be talking about and what the housing task force is actually going to be including. So I know that kind of the same thing they were saying, but it's still a good thing to have these conversations, even if we don't get someone on the task force. But stay tuned. It is moving, and it will be over in the Senate. Yep.
Okay.
What's
next?
Moving right along. Senate Bill 13, the Select Commission on Passenger Rail. This did establish exactly what it says, the Commission on Passenger Rail. There's a lot of money federally available to kind of talk about how these funds can be used around passenger rail. If you remember correctly, it made it through committee and did get to second reading. There was a second reading amendment added that removed Marion County. And so the commission cannot talk about how to improve deal with rail in Marion County, but it continued to move on to third reading. That amendment obviously went in and it passed out of the Senate, 35 to 10. So that one is moving over to the House. We will keep an eye on it. And obviously we support this commission. So we'll just see, we'll kind of see what happens with that amendment that went in. I know it excludes Marion County, but overall the bill is still a really good bill. So
yes, this amendment did not derail the bill.
Oh, no.
That's the last one.
Okay. Dan's gonna start putting things on.
Yeah, that was the last train pun. It's the only one for this podcast today. This show.
Well,
that's it. That's the last one. Yeah, that's true.
Stay tuned. We'll keep you updated as that moves through the House. Senate Bill 71 was the absentee voting for the elderly and disabled. We did testify on this. It had a hearing in Senate elections. As you heard us talk about, unfortunately, there was not a vote taken the day it was heard, and it was not brought back for an additional hearing and a vote. So it died in committee. We will continue to keep talking about this issue. And again, if you remember, it basically was taking the current law for absentee voting and just allowing people to automatically set up to have a permanent absentee voter status. And it wasn't changing any of the requirements to get an absentee ballot. It kept all of those intact, but there was just some opposition, some things that needed to be worked out maybe before we have a broader discussion about this. So stay tuned. It has died for this session, but you never know.
Yeah, it was a good discussion, at least to get it started. Hopefully people continue to review that possibility and open it up in the future to doing something like this. We'll just keep on having the conversation, I guess, until folks come around.
Absolutely. Agreed. Moving on to Senate Bill 236. This one is the eligibility for senior property tax deduction. Basically, it just increases the adjusted gross income threshold for individuals 65 and above. This program currently is in existence, but it was $30,000 for the gross income, and let me make sure that I have this right, and $200,000 for the assessed value. This bill will take $30,000 to $40,000, and we'll move $200,000 to $300,000. And so we were supportive of this. I just want to make sure that I said that right. Yes, sorry. Individual, it was 30 to 40. Filing jointly, it was 40 to 50. So sorry, just making sure we're getting those changes right. And then it went from 200,000 assessed value to 300,000. So it is moving. It passed out of the Senate 48-0. Again, we were supportive of this and testified, and we hope to continue to support it in the House.
All right, keep it.
All right.
Hopefully keep it moving.
Keep moving. Let's see. Senate Bill 250. We have not mentioned this one before, but I did just want to bring it up because we were going to be very opposed to it. It is the healthcare providers bill. And again, I don't know if I said the number, but it was Senate Bill 250. And it was just going to be removing language around things that an advanced practice registered nurse can already do, and was going to severely limit their scope. So we would not have been in favor of this bill. The good news is that it did not receive a hearing in committee, and so it has officially died. So I just wanted to make sure that we have avoided that barrier, because this would have been very detrimental for access to healthcare here in the state of Indiana.
So this is one of the times where we're pleased that a bill did not make it.
Correct.
So that's good news.
Yes.
In that regard, because why put up more barriers when we're trying to take them down?
Right. Exactly. And so kind of on that same note, I'll bring up Senate Bill 251 because it deals with the Interstate Medical Licensure Compact. And this is something that's very similar to a compact we worked on a couple of years ago, which was the Nurse Licensure Compact. And again, this is something that actually expands access to care and helps providers to be able to cross state lines as long as they're in the compact and they have all of the requirements and they don't have to apply in every state, et cetera, et cetera. So it really does actually tear down barriers. So we were excited that this is moving. It passed out 46-0. So it is moving and we're excited about it. So we will hopefully continue to keep supporting it as it moves across.
Hopefully smooth sailing as it goes to the other chamber.
Agreed. Let's see. Next up, more access to healthcare. Senate Bill 284, which is the Telehealth Matters bill. We mentioned this previously. It just expands telehealth and will continue to allow people to use this for their healthcare. So we obviously have been a huge advocate of anytime we can continue to talk about telehealth and break down those barriers and just increase access. That is where this is going. So we were supportive of it, testified in support, and it is moving to the House. It also passed out with no opposition. It was 46-0 in the Senate.
That's good news too. We got, expanding access to care is what we're all about.
Absolutely. Okay. I need to come up with a different word than absolutely or agreed. So throw some
That's
out,
all right.
Dan.
Absolutely. I say so a lot.
I just feel like maybe I need to
Have you ever
come up
listened to the tape of this? I'm always like,
synonyms. Dan can start putting suggestions in the
yeah.
If he has
We're all a work in progress.
Okay, good.
That's your motivation for the day.
Okay. So next up would be Senate Bill 352, which is not great news. Yes, it is the Supervised Consumer Loan Bill. Just to give you an update, we are opposed. We have been opposed. I know you've heard us talk about this. This is a new installment loan product.
But it's not payday though, right? It's not a payday loan.
A payday loan.
But it's probably just as bad.
It is probably just as bad.
Yeah.
Thank you, producer Dan.
Because it is, it's payday. I think adjacent is maybe a good word for it, or I don't know what it has payday characteristics.
It does. I'll just throw out a couple of things really fast. This is a product that, while it may seem that we have in the past asked for payday loans to be capped at 36%, even though that is still crazy high, this looks on the surface as though the installment loan is capped at 36%. And it is. It has a 36% APR on it. However, there are fees and other things attached to it that make it astronomically high as when it comes to a percentage that you're paying over your monthly rate.
It's like approaching 300%.
Yes, if you add in the fees,
all the fees and all that stuff.
Yes. Yeah. So we were working against this bill. We did not think that it is good for Hoosiers. This new product could just cause a cycle of debt that is really not good. So there's other things to it. This bill also would allow the individuals making these loans, they are not included in the loan sharking statute.
That's cool. When, hey, I got a joke for you. When's a loan shark not a loan shark? When the Indiana Journal Assembly just changes the law and says no, not a loan shark.
When they're not included in the loan sharking statute, right?
Yeah, that's when a loan shark is not a loan shark.
I don't really know why I'm laughing because that's really not funny.
But yeah, it's not a funny joke. It's a terrible joke.
It's true though.
It's not funny that this is happening.
So, update. Senator Zay called it down on third reading, and it failed for lack of a constitutional majority. So basically, I'm looking up it was 24-22. So that means it could not pass.
But that also allows him another swing at it.
Yes. If it fails for lack of a constitutional majority, he can call it back down. But fun fact, he could have only called it back down one more time. And he did. He did call it down. It ended up passing. And so on third reading a couple days ago, it passed out 27-22. So
he waited to the last day to call it down.
On the deadline day. Correct. Mm-hmm. I just need to make sure that people probably did hear that it failed, but it failed because of the constitutional majority. So that means it actually did not completely fail. And that's why he could call it back down. It passed. It's moving to the House. We are going to continue to educate and oppose this bill. So stay tuned. We will have more of an update as things move on.
Yep. Okay.
So let's see. Senate Bill 369 was the Marion County Public Transportation Corporation bill. And again, we have spent a lot of time discussing this. This would have prohibited dedicated lanes for the Blue Line. Guess what? After it was assigned to Rules and Legislative Procedures, it was never recommitted again. And the deadline happened. It is dead. So we are very
Don't
excited.
tease me. It's dead.
It's dead. But I do have a caveat. I mean, there could be amendments that come back on some of these bills that have died. We just have to watch amendments to make sure that nothing's sticky.
But that bill focusing in on specifically the Blue Line in Indianapolis, the Rapid Bus Transit line that they're looking to build, that bill is no longer with us.
No. So thankfully, we have at least gotten over one hurdle at the first half of session. So
okay,
and we spent a lot of time trying to make sure that bill did not get a hearing. So
here's hoping.
So I don't know why I keep saying that word. Wait, are we done? Is that it? I didn't realize that was the last one.
I think that's it. I mean, it's a lot there.
It is, and we went through them
and I think there's actually probably even a couple other ones that we got in the mix on that we haven't discussed that we'll bring you up to speed as we get into the second half. But yeah, good work, Amber.
Well, and good work to all of us, everybody, our volunteers, our legislative team. I mean, it has been a combined effort to get through to this first half, or get through the first half. I did want to mention, producer Dan, I don't know if you have the website available, but we are going to have a rundown of all of these bills that we mentioned, or the majority of them, on a blog, and it will be up on our website at aarp.org/in. And so thank you, Dan. Dan is going to be putting that together and getting that posted. So if you don't see it, don't worry, it's not up yet, but it will be. And so if you have more questions or want additional information, it will be on our website.
Yes, Dan is putting that together as we speak. He is not just the producer, he's also a writer. So give that a look, aarp.org/in. Check out his work. It's top-notch stuff and a lot of information in there. So bookmark it, send it to your friends. There's a lot of good stuff there.
Excellent. Yes.
Not yet. We're almost there, Dan. Almost there. Subscribe to the Substack.
I love it. So what else we got?
Shout outs. You got some shout outs?
I do have a shout out today.
Yes.
Yes. So I had a meeting with an individual that I'm going to name, and she told me that she is a new listener to our show. So I wanted to give a shout out to Lindsay. I just met her for the first time during our meeting this week, but I thought it was amazing. She brought this show up and said that she had listened to a couple of episodes. And so I wanted to make sure that we said hello and thank you. And that while I was embarrassed and nervous, because I mean, we just kind of get on here sometimes and we try to make it fun. But it was really great to hear that she had listened to a couple of our episodes. So
nice to know that there's listeners out there and viewers. Thank you. We appreciate it. We appreciate you. Like, subscribe, do all those things to stay up to date on what's happening. That's awesome. Welcome.
Yes. Welcome, Lindsay. We're so excited. And I know that you may not listen to every episode, but thanks for listening to a couple.
You will now, because we're going to give you the heads up that we gave you a shout out. I don't know, maybe not. But either way, maybe it'll just be a nice surprise. That's awesome. Okay, cool. I'm trying to think if I have any. I guess because there's a snowstorm going on right now. Shout out to all those folks that are out there plowing the streets and trying to clear the way for folks for when this passes, that we can easily get around our community. Thank you for those folks that are out there shoveling the sidewalks and salting and plowing and doing all those things. So that's my shout out. My quick shout out.
I think that was a great shout out.
So hopefully
it's
not too snowy and cold where you are. If not, this show will keep you warm with all of our information. I don't know. I don't even know what I was going with that. we can just say, do you have anything else to add? We can probably just wrap that up.
Yeah, that's great. We can totally wrap it up. We're good.
All right, Amber, good work on the
Thank
first
you.
half. Good work in advance on the second half. We'll keep you guys posted. Stay tuned for the next episode of the Legislative Director, talking about legislative things. We'll talk to you then.